You're watching NewsView with Lee Sullivan.
Welcome back. It's NewsView, visiting with Ron Hart, syndicated columnist and author and Fox News View contributor. So what about the Russian spy thingy?
I write about this week. It's almost like, Yogi Berra said, deja vu all over again. It's almost like the 70s. You got a very weak Democrat president like Jimmy Carter and Obama. You got oil issues, oil crisis issues. You got Iran causing problems. Now you got spies again. So it's history repeating itself a little bit. But they arrested 10 Russian spies up in suburbia in New Jersey. All of a sudden, trying to overthrow our government. Truth is, they're about one election too late. We already have a Leninist, a communist-leaning Leninist believer, Stalin believer, who's trying to destroy capitalism in the White House. So they came a little bit late. But there's some argument whether they were really government workers, but I argue they were, because they've been here for 10 years and they've accomplished nothing. So they must be government workers. I'm pretty sure that doesn't say government to me. Nothing does. But they were caught, and it's unfortunate. They were like one semester away from, being American, where they were going to master conversational Spanish.
They really?
They were pretty close to.
They didn't
really
take
being
the
there.
Cyanide capsule when they were caught either.
No, it wasn't.
Disappointing.
They're pretty cute. I mean, she's pictures of them. These are some pretty cute spies, like a James Bond movie. Cute, They were using Facebook, all the modern. They would Facebook people in the Pentagon and become friends with them, and then they would over time say, "Well, what you doing this weekend?" And the Pentagon guy, "I'd love to go, but I'm building a nuclear bomb, or
Right.
we're moving troops into Kosovo, or we're doing this." So that was the idea. Whether they were effective or not, I don't know. Obama ignored it when he met with the Russian president recently. He didn't even bring the subject up.
Well, he wouldn't want to be offensive, would he?
Well, he's very uncomfortable. In his defense, he's very uncomfortable talking about any subject but himself.
Right.
So, but he's been asked 3 times in press conferences about it. I didn't want to hurt the Russian relations. And I think mostly they feel like that it's the way we do business. I mean, the Russian people say, "Okay, you caught me, but this, everybody expects this.
Right.
We're watching each other. It's perestroika, trust but verify type of mindset. Our relations with them is good, and the reason our relations with Russia is good is they know communism failed, and capitalism is taking hold over there. If we export anything in this country, it shouldn't be necessarily democracy, which will always follow. It should be capitalism, because that's what ties all our countries together. They wanted Western jeans.
Right.
They wanted cigarettes. They wanted Western movies on TV. And that's what pulls our countries together in the Mideast and in Russia over the years, is the fact that they want cultural change and they want to be like us, and it's driven by capitalism.
Ron Hart, when we come back, General McChrystal, a Big Mac, as Obama said. We'll be right back.
You're watching NewsView with Lee Sullivan.
Welcome back. It's NewsView. I'm Lee Sullivan, visiting with Ron Hart and speaking about a number of things. And General McChrystal decided, with members of his staff, decided to have tete-a-tete with Rolling Stone magazine, and that has resulted in the end of his career, basically.
Exactly. He's done something no one's been able to do in a long time, make Rolling Stone relevant all of a sudden. But, he was sending a message, obviously, to Obama. It was a suicide mission on his part. I think he had to know he's going to get fired by doing this. They say he's sending a message. Rolling Stone's a magazine that, of course, the Obama administration is going to read. If he was sending a message to the Bush administration, he would have done Guns and Ammo or
Right.
Highlights magazine or something. But he sends a message basically to him, and it's funny who they come with. Betray us, remember? Betray us,
Betray us.
The scourge of the left.
Right.
They hated under the Bush administration.
Now becomes the
is
hero.
now the hero,
Right.
like Robert Byrd was. I mean, he's a KKK member. Also, as long as you're a Democrat and you fall in line with their thinking, you're our guy. You're all we got. But presidents have always had problems, with generals. I mean, and
MacArthur.
yeah, Bill Clinton had problems with his privates.
Right.
So it all goes up and down the range of things. Eisenhower fired MacArthur. There's been other generals to do that over time. But this is a tough war, and there's been a disappointment for me. And I held out more hope than most for Obama early on. I thought he would perhaps mend race relations and get us out of Afghanistan and Iraq. Contrary to that, he's escalated, and he's actually done everything the opposite of what I would have wanted him to do. So I'm terribly disappointed in this situation.
Ron, this country has such a pitiful history in assuming the debts, obligations, and conflicts of others. After Dien Bien Phu, you know, here's Eisenhower. He gets us involved with Vietnam. Kennedy comes along. He escalates that.
Sure.
And
Johnson
then,
did too.
yes, sir. And I guess the most troubling thing to me now is that I see that replication of no reason to nowhere in Afghanistan.
Right. What's the end game? When do you declare victory? When have you won? You know, over there. We don't fight guerrilla wars well as Americans. If there's uniformed people on the other side, or there's an encampment, we fly over F-14s, F-16s, we mow them down, we're the best in the world. Right. We don't do well with guerrilla wars. We need to understand that after Vietnam. I don't want my 20-year-old son walking the village path against a poor Muslim kid who's fighting for his Allah, right. and I'm supposed to be with a gun on the ground in his tent trying to shoot him. What good is that? I mean, what's been accomplished? You're basically creating more enemies than you're getting rid of. And the reason the Civil War, people talk about the Civil War, the South probably would have won the Civil War had they fought a guerrilla war. But back then they lined up West Point style. You mow each other down. They got 2 to 1 more people than we have. They have 3 to 1 more cannons. They're going to win the war over time. They had conscripted people. And the other thing to remember about the Civil War, and not different than Afghanistan, only 2% of the people who were Confederate soldiers owned slaves. They weren't fighting for slavery. They were fighting because the northern people were on their land. And it's the same reason the Afghanis are fighting right now. All they know is these Americans are on their land. And it's called the Graveyard of Empires for a reason. They defeated the Russians. They defeated Genghis Khan. Right. They have a long history of defeating enemies, and they're very patient. And we're not patient.
Well, my problem is no one defines the goal. I mean, it's so nebulous. It's so ambiguous. Ron Hart, we'll be right back.